Welcome back to another edition of Arizona Wildcats Insiders Podcast. I'm your host, Troy Hutchison, and we are officially here. It is rivalry week. Arizona is days from taking on arch rival Arizona State. Both teams coming into the game at 8-3. Arizona with an impressive win over Baylor, taking down the Baylor Bears 41-17. It was a game where Arizona trailed 17-14 at halftime. Scored 27 unanswered points. That's right, unanswered points over the Bears in the second half and shutting them out. Just complete dominance from Arizona. The rushing game, 172 yards on the ground, just looked really effective there. Defensively, they gave up their yards in the first half, but after that, it was all about Arizona's defense coming up with turnovers, pick sixes, key stops. Just a complete defensive performance from Danny Gonzalez's unit. Seth Dagey, complete performance from his offensive unit. Now the Cats sit at 8-3. And at the beginning of the year, there are a lot of fans that thought they would just win 4 games. We told you right here, this is a 7-win team at least. We had them at 7-5. Clearly, we were right. They've overachieved a little bit, getting to 8-3. And they have a realistic shot at getting to 9-3 as they make the trip up north to take on Arizona State in the 99th Territorial Cup. That's right. Next year is that big 100, but this is the 99th Territorial Cup. Meanwhile, Arizona State, they are 8-3 as well, coming off of an impressive win over Colorado, but in a weird game against Colorado where it's 21-17. Partially through the fourth quarter, Colorado's done a great job of hanging around, just finding a way to be in the game. And then ASU, that rushing attack, finally took off. Brown just rushed all over the Buffs for 200-plus yards. Incredible performance by ASU. And they've done it with a backup quarterback in Sims, who's had his ups and downs, isn't an elite passer, has a beautiful ball, as Danny Gonzalez said, but low completion percentage, high turnover rate. They've been running the football at will on teams this season. Again, both teams ranked. This is the 5th time in Territorial Cup history that both Arizona and Arizona State come into the game ranked. Arizona ranked 25th in the country at 8-3. I thought they should have been higher, but they're at 25. And then Arizona State at 20 at 8-3. Again, they have a little bit more history in the poll this year and last season as well. But, I mean, this is a great matchup. And Coach Kenny Dillingham of Arizona State talked about it. The state's better when these two programs are good. College football is better when Arizona and Arizona State are good, when that rivalry is at its peak. It just helps out both programs. It makes it a bigger deal nationally. You get more recognition nationally on both sides. So this is what you want. You want both programs trending in the right direction, having coaches that have coached or graduated from that university, Brent Brennan being a graduate assistant underneath the legendary Dick Tomey, and his brother, Brad Brennan, playing for Dick Tomey at the receiver position. So a lot of history there. And then Coach Kenny Dillingham, a player and a graduate of Arizona State. So it makes all the sense in the world why this rivalry means so much to these two head coaches, and it's going to be a great one come Friday night. But before we get to Friday night, we took a look at nationally how Arizona has stacked up in bowl projections. And you know what? I'm going to be honest. I'm a little shocked. There's about a handful, about 3 bowl projections that have Arizona going to the LA Bowl versus San Diego State. If that's the case, 1, Arizona loses this weekend. 2, a lot of other things have to go right because I think they've played themselves out of the LA Bowl. I think that's a terrible projection. I think you're looking at the Sun Bowl or Holiday Bowl, depending on the outcome of the game. And I think it's that way for both teams. I think it's one of those games where the winner goes to X Bowl game, the loser goes to X Bowl game. But I think those are the 2 realistic bowl games, are the Holiday and Alamo Bowl. I personally would love to see the Vegas Bowl. It's an easy trip. Vegas, great amenities and just great environment. So I'd personally like to see the Vegas Bowl. But I think realistically it's going to be the Holiday Bowl. So we looked at it and, most places have the LA Bowl. Most places have the Sun Bowl. Nobody really has the Holiday Bowl. Nobody really has the Vegas Bowl. So that seems to be the overwhelming theme and overwhelming consensus, is that it's going to be either LA Bowl or Sun Bowl. But right now we have Arizona, and we'll get to our projection later tomorrow. We have Arizona, or the next day, I should say, getting to the Sun Bowl and facing off against Miami. I know, whoa, Troy, Miami's number 12. They're going to make the college football playoffs, according to many people. They're not making the college football playoffs. They're not making the ACC title game. They're not getting into the college football playoffs. And I think as you see how everything stacks up, and, you have your, let's see here, you have your Wake Forest of the world. You have your SMUs of the world. You have your Virginias, your Georgia Techs, so on and so forth. I think Miami's going to fall to the Sun Bowl. And I think that would set up a primetime game. It'd be a great one to watch on New Year's Eve. And you know what? It has flashes of the 1993 Fiesta Bowl. Now, that Miami team isn't even anywhere close to that Fiesta Bowl team. But right now, that's where we have Arizona projected, is to go to the Sun Bowl. Now, could I see a Holiday Bowl? Yes, I can. And if you get a Holiday Bowl, would that matchup be in Iowa, which would be a very interesting and intriguing matchup? Would that matchup be in Nebraska? Flashes to the 09 Holiday Bowl, which Arizona fans do not want to remember. As a kid, I remember that game was delayed due to the Idaho Potato Bowl. They turned it on. All of a sudden, it's 14-0 Nebraska within the first couple minutes, and that game was well over. But also flashes to the 1998 Holiday Bowl, where Arizona beats Nebraska, finishes its highest AP poll ranking as a program at number 4, beating Nebraska 23-20 and taking down one of the top dynasties of the 90s. They did that twice. Think about it. They beat Miami 29-0 in the Fiesta Bowl, and they beat Nebraska 23-20 in the Holiday Bowl. That's the two top programs of the 80s and 90s. And Arizona just said, yeah, whatever. That just speaks to the power and the strength of Coach Dick Tomey. But yeah, no, I look at Arizona. I think if this goes the way I think it will, they're probably playing a Sun Bowl. And again, I think the winner could go to the Sun Bowl. So I think that would be a great matchup. Another matchup potentially is Arizona versus Notre Dame. Would be an interesting and intriguing matchup. But we will have more coverage of Arizona Wildcat football as we get closer to the 99th Territorial Cup. That kicks off at 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. I was going to say Eastern Time, but Mountain Standard Time on Fox. It doesn't get better than that. I think it is one of the best rivalry games in the history of college football, and it's on full display. Both teams ranked. You couldn't ask for anything better. So be sure to follow Arizona Wildcats on SI. Follow our Twitter account at Arizona Wildcats on SI, or follow me, Troy Hutchison, at THutch1995, and we'll have more coverage of the Territorial Cup.